Hey, it's Marie Forleo, and you are watching Marie TV, the place to be to create a business and life you love. And today I'm so excited because we're talking about one of my favorite topics of all time, money. You know this if you've been watching the show. I love money. I love what it can help you do in the world, and obviously it touches every aspect of our lives. So I think that no matter where you are economically, and where I am, we always have room for growth, right? Not only in terms of our net worth, but more importantly, our relationship to money and how it impacts every decision that we make. My guest today has made a huge impact on my financial life, and my hope is he's going to help you do the same. David Bach has helped millions of people around the world take action to live and finish rich. He's one of the most prolific financial authors of our time with 11 consecutive national bestsellers, 9 consecutive New York Times bestsellers, with more than 7 million books in print in 18 languages. His most popular book, The Automatic Millionaire, spent 31 weeks on the New York Times bestseller list. He's a media favorite, having done thousands of appearances on television, radio, and print, being on the Today Show over 100 times and Oprah 6 times. He's also an entrepreneur as the founder of Finish Rich Media. His programs have done over $100 million in sales, and he comes to the table of financial education with a lifetime of investment experience. What he's most proud of, though, are his sons Jack and James. David is married and lives with his family in New York City. David, thank you so much for coming on to Marie TV.
I'm thrilled to be here, Marie. It's great to see you.
It's great to see you. And I wanted to just say publicly, years ago when I first picked up Smart Women Finish Rich, it was such a life changer for me. And ever since, I've read so many of your books. I've followed you for years and years and years. So this is like such a beautiful full circle moment because you were a huge part of me getting my financial life together. And It's just really an honor to sit here with you today because there's even more to discuss, and money is one of my favorite topics in the whole wide world.
I'm a high fiver. Give me the high five. Look, first of all, I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah.
And, we've known each other, what would you mean, like 10 years ago?
Yes.
And you've come so far. So I know now I'm here excited to be on your stage, and I'm so proud of you because you've accomplished so much.
Thank you.
So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, one of the first places I think most people think of when they want to get their financial life together is let's go to the numbers. Let's break out the checkbook. Let's get the spreadsheet open. Let's start adding things up. And you have a different approach. You say that's not where we should start. And it's kind of counterintuitive. In fact, you write, we need to start with our values because your values can determine how hard you're willing to work to achieve your financial goals, how much money you currently spend, and how much money you will actually need for retirement. So walk us through the importance of starting with our values and how we can do this.
Okay, well, so I love the fact that you started with the hardest thing that I teach, but it is the most important thing. Because when your values are clear, your financial decisions become easy. And the biggest thing that holds us back, we all know what we should do. I mean, most of what I'll talk about today, people know they should do it. Everybody knows they should save more money and they should pay down their debt. All these things that we know we should do. We should have a will. We should have life insurance. We shoot ourselves to death. We don't do what we know we should do. And that's because there's a disconnect. So the way you break through the disconnect is by being clear on your values. So this is hard to explain like with sound bites, but I'll give you an example from like being on when I teach this stuff on stage or with my clients one-on-one. You had a friend of ours here, Tony Robbins was here recently. He did his new book, and Tony and I and Donald Trump did this tour together for a while where we toured all over North America, the US and Canada. This was before the recession. And we would have these huge venues, between 15 to 30,000 people. I mean, unbelievable. It's so much fun. And I would come out on stage, and the first question, everybody's fired up, right? You got 30,000 people in a room, and I'd come out, and I'd say, I have a question for you. And my first question is, do you want to be rich? And, everybody's all fired up, right? So they're like, yeah, I want to be rich. I'm like, turn to your neighbor, tell them how rich you want to be. I want to be rich. Everybody's all excited, right? And then I let the room get quiet, which if it's a big room, that's pretty, I just stand on stage and let the room quiet down. And I'd say, really? You want to be rich? Why? And everybody started looking at me like, why do you want to be rich? Some of you, by the way, you said you wanted to be rich. Some of you just want to be financially secure, right? Like some of you are here to just be secure. By the way, some of you are here to just get back to even. You're like, I just don't want to be in debt anymore. So I said, but my question is why? Now, the way we're programmed and the way we're marketed to, your brain starts, you ask a question, your brain starts looking for an answer. People then think that their answer is supposed to be a goal. It's supposed to be a numerical money goal. Like, well, I want $1 million, or I want a bigger home, or I want a bigger car. And goals are really important, but they're not where you start. Because what happens is people get all motivated and excited about a goal, but then the real world hits them. And as soon as it gets hard, they get off track. So what I've taught for, almost 20-something years, and it started with my clients at Morgan Stanley, is yes, we've got financial goals, but we're going to look at values first. And when we get clear on your values, you'll be unstoppable. And then we can take your values, what you just said is most important to you, and we can align them with your goals so that they come together and they're not in conflict. And then nothing can hold you back.
And so what are some of the most common values that you have seen that people either have not articulated? Like, is it freedom? Is it family? Is it, I don't know. What are some of the things that people...
So in the book, I give you like a list of values, right?
Yeah.
But I say you don't have to just copy them, right? Like
Right.
People have pretty common values, family, security, freedom, making a difference. Here's what you do, because it's not that complicated. You take out a pad of paper. You can do this in 5 minutes. And you write out all your values, all the values you can think about. And then what I recommend you do is you circle 5 of them. You come up with your 5 favorite values. And in the book, in Smart Couples Finish Rich, it's a values circle. In Smart Women Finish Rich, it was a values ladder. And I'll just explain the difference for a second.
Sure.
Because in Smart Women Finish Rich, I taught people a hierarchy system, which was identifying your highest value. And by the way, for some people, that was tough. So I started realizing, it's not just about your highest value. Let's look at your 5 most important values. Get them down on paper. If you're in a marriage or a relationship, have your partner do this. Once the value is down on paper, then let's look at your money. And let's look at, are you spending money in a way that is getting you closer to your values? Or are you spending money in a way that's getting you further from your values? And so what I really find when I work with clients or coaching people one-on-one, a lot of people's lives are in complete conflict with their values and they don't realize it. Once they see it on paper, it's like a huge wake-up call.
Wow.
And that can apply to everything. That can apply to your business. That can apply to your health. So I don't think, and also the key about values is it's God-given, right? Like people are basically born perfect, right? Like you're good the way you are. It's inside of you. The magic pill that we're all looking for, it's already in you. You just have to get clear about it.
Yeah. I love that. And it gets us in touch too. For me, there's such a sickness in what I see in society with more.
Yeah.
Just like that question, well, why do you want to be rich? Do you really want those things? And I've had several points in my career where I feel like there was a lot of external noise to go bigger and go for a TV show and do this and you should want, and I really always had to stop and check myself because it felt so out of alignment with who I genuinely am and what I want. And this great question of well, how hard are you willing to work and is it really worth it? So I love this idea of starting off with our values and getting some alignment between what we say is important and how we demonstrate that through.
It's really being authentic, right? Like what you're talking about is who's your authentic self.
Yeah.
And also, another thing that holds people back sometimes with money is that they think that money's bad.
Oh,
money, right?
Goodness gracious.
A lot of people have all kinds of mental issues about money because they were raised with money. Those people over there, they're bad people. When you're authentic yourself, there's nothing bad with building wealth. Building wealth can free you to live your most authentic self. So to me, that's about living rich.
Yeah. And in my own life, money has been such a tool for healing and for good. And so I have a really powerful association that it's a beautiful thing. And that's actually one of the things I love to talk about is so many people, there's a lot of conflict around that. I want it, but I shouldn't want it. And it makes me an unspiritual person or it makes me greedy and all this stuff. So great stuff. There's one big mistake that you say that many of us make with our financial life, and fixing it can take less than an hour. We like quick fixes, especially this one that's this powerful. Tell us about automation.
Okay, so I wrote this book called The Automatic Millionaire.
Brilliant.
And the purpose of that book was everybody coming to me saying, David, just tell me the one thing I need to do. Because I don't want to go through the 9 steps or the 7 steps. I want to have the one thing. And I found myself telling people over and over again, there's this one thing you need to do, and that's make it automatic. And they, what does that mean? So I had to break it down. And here's where it starts. Let me tell you what doesn't work. Okay, so what doesn't work, this is going to piss some people off, but I'm going to just say it. Budgeting is what doesn't work. So most experts for years come out and say, well, you know what, you need is a budget. You need to put the money into different categories, and then we're going to figure out where the savings is going to come from, and then we're going to, at the end, we'll be able to take this money here and put it over here. It doesn't work. Budgeting doesn't work, and you've been told to have a budget and use discipline. And the reason it doesn't work is that in the real world, people hate budgeting. They do. It's like dieting.
Yeah.
Even if they go on a budget, they will still break the budget later. And in the real world, most of us are wired one of 2 ways. So some people are actually born to budget. They literally came out of a womb with a calculator and they want to track where all the money goes. And they're into this, right? Then there's the person who's the opposite of that, which is the spender. And typically we fall in love with our financial opposite. And that creates a lot of fights. So what you do is you go, look, budgeting doesn't work, discipline doesn't work. You need to throw that nonsense out, and you need to just make it foolproof, and you need to make it automatic. And so what I teach is this. There's basically 6 or 7 things that you automate. So I can break it out for you if you want.
Yeah, go for it.
So, and this is how my life is, all right? Like my life takes 10 minutes a month to track all my finances. 10 minutes a month. That's about how long it should take for anybody. So first of all, if you get a paycheck, this is obvious, but the first thing is that paycheck gets deposited automatically. Most people get a check manually. Still to this day, still to this day are getting checks. Now they may be taking a picture with their phone, although if it's a big check, they can't do it with their phone. They got to bring it into a bank. That's why there's bank branches everywhere. So that's insane. So first, your check should be deposited automatically. If you're self-employed or you have your own business, smart businesses, all the money comes in automatically. All my clients, for the most part, like 95% of those checks are hitting my business account automatically. So that money's coming in automatically. Now the question is, where's the money go next? So there's different buckets that the money goes into. The first, I call it a basket, is pay yourself first. So you've got a pay yourself first basket. And that's your retirement account. And I recommend, at a minimum, you pull 10% from that automatic deposit right into a retirement account. Minimum 10%. Okay, so now we've got 90 cents left. Now we're going to pull some money off into a security account. That security account's for emergencies. People get confused on emergencies. I need to redo my kitchen. Not an emergency, right? I want a new car. Not an emergency.
Yeah, subway tiles in the
These
kitchen.
new shoes just came out. Not an emergency.
Right.
Emergencies are emergencies. So that money gets put into a separate account with no checking, no ATM card. Then money starts to go into all the expenses automatically. So anything that could affect your credit score, your mortgage, automatically paid, always. Your credit cards, minimum payments always paid automatically. So let's say your minimum payment's $50 a month. I would never want you to only pay minimum payments, but that payment, that first payment, it's automatically paid, then you pay extra. Everything, utilities, all those bills automatically paid. Then we get down to the fun stuff, and that's charity. We automatically give money to a charity account, and then we automatically give money to a dream account. And the dream account happens to be the one people love the most.
I think it's the one you love the most too.
Well, it is the one I love the most because the dream account is like, look, people go, everybody knows retirement for most people is far off, but between here and retirement, it's like all the stuff you want to do with your life.
Yeah.
So if you put money automatically from that deposit into the dream account, then you start to have money for your dreams. Because I always tell people the way you get to your dreams is you buy them. And then, of course, there's taxes, which I didn't bring up because I'm assuming if you're an employee, the taxes got pulled out. If you're self-employed, the first thing you're doing after you pay yourself first is you're pulling out tax money. And by the way, that's where most self-employed people blow themselves up.
Completely.
They don't pull their tax money out automatically. They're bringing all this money in throughout the year. They think they're having a great year. They're spending the money out. They get to the end of the year and they have a huge tax bill and they have no money to pay it.
It's been my philosophy with the folks in my financial life, my accountant, bookkeeper, everyone was always like, let's pay. Like, I just always want to be safe because I remember one year that's what happened. It was at the end of the year. I'm like, what is this surprise? And I said, from this moment forward, no mas surprises. No mas.
That feeling that comes into your stomach when you realize that you didn't put away enough for taxes.
Oh, yeah.
And the one person that you can't get away with not paying is the government.
That's right. Probably one of my favorite things that you teach is how we can start to get a grip on our spending. And one of the most famous things is your Latte Factor.
Right.
Can you tell us about the Latte Factor and how we can put this into use?
Sure. So the Latte Factor is this metaphor I teach, which is how we spend small amounts of money on little things. And it started because I was teaching a class and I had a young woman named Kim telling me she couldn't save anything. And I'm like, you can't save $5 a day. And she's like, no, I can't. And meanwhile, she's like sipping a latte from Starbucks. So, this was back when Starbucks was like $2.50. Today we're here in Manhattan. You go into Starbucks and you have a latte and a muffin and you're walking out like $6, $7, $8 poor. And I started showing people that if you took that small amount of money, $5 to $10 a day, and you redirected it towards savings, paying yourself first, or even paying down your debt. Like if you redirected towards paying down your debt, the average person who's in credit card debt, if they redirected $5 to $10 a day to paying down that debt, they'd be out of debt in 24 months. If they took instead the $5 to $10 a day and they put it in their retirement account, a lot of people who watch this in their 20s, you start saving $10 a day and you do that from your 20s until you reach the age of retirement at a decent rate of return, you're going to have hundreds of thousands of dollars. You start to earn a 9, 10, or 11% return, you could have over $1 million by the time you reach retirement. Now, the key is it's a metaphor, right? So because people get all pissed off at me. They're like, the only thing I've got going for me, David Bach, are my lattes. This is the guy that's taking away my coffee. Look, I'm a coffee addict. I love my coffee. I just happen to make it at home for 20 cents.
Yeah.
But it could be bottled water. It could be cigarettes. It could be eating out. It could be your martini at night. I'm not trying to take away your fun stuff. I'm not actually trying to do anything but get you to think about the money that you have, that you earn. If you keep some of it, life gets a lot easier.
Yes.
And, so many people's lives have been changed because that metaphor has made them go, aha, he's right, and I can find that money. And they've redirected that money towards savings. I was just showing you a second ago, I was on, authors, we go on Amazon to look at reviews, but it's been a while.
You're brave.
So I haven't done that in a long time. So I went on Amazon this morning, ironically, and I was looking at the Automatic Millionaire, and it was at 500 reviews. And the last review was this woman. I think it was a woman. Is it a woman or a man? Because, but she said, the title of it was, "It Seems Too Good to Be True, but It's Not." And she proceeded to tell the story about how her friends 10 years ago thought that she should go bankrupt. It says right there, everybody told me to go bankrupt. I was in credit card debt. I had no money. And she's like, now I'm out of credit card debt. I have a home free and clear, and I have a 7-figure net worth.
Wow.
And, I don't know for a fact, but I'm pretty sure the Latte Factor was probably a big trigger for her because it's what gets people to go from, yeah, I should do it, to actually doing it.
So what's the practice? Is there a 7-day challenge?
Okay, so let me just give you the history of this Latte Factor thing. So I would teach this and I would tell people, you need to track your expenses for 30 days. For 30 days, go track your expenses. And like 2 people did it, right? So then I was like, okay, you know what? The 7-day challenge. In fact, I think we did this on Oprah. Yeah. For 7 days, track your Latte Factor. Oprah, when I did one of the Oprah shows, we showed the Latte Factor and she pulled off a cloth and showed this woman's Latte Factor. And we had $250,000 in cash sitting on this table. And we told people for 7 days, track your expenses. A lot of people did that, like tens of thousands of people tracked their expenses for 7 days. So I would love it if people would go and take the challenge and for 7 days, track where their money's going, everything. People are like, well, does that include cash? Yes. Does that include my ATM card? Yes. Checks? Yes. Visa, everywhere your money goes for 7 days, track it. And then at the end of 7 days, look at it and tell yourself, well, what's in here that could be changed? Now, I will say this. Some people can't get through 7 days.
Really?
So a lot of times, and I could do it right now, I say, you know what? Just do it for one freaking day. One day. Just take 1 day and take a pad of paper and just write down where your money goes for 1 day. And the only key here is don't change who you are during that day. Don't change your behavior. Just spend money like you always do. And if you're in a relationship, have your partner do this. And then look at it and be honest with yourself. I always think Benjamin Franklin was famous for saying, a penny saved is a penny earned. Well, today I'd say $5 saved is $5 earned. For some people, the Latte Factor is not $5, it's $100, or it's $100,000. I mean, I've done speeches for people where the average liquid net worth in the room was $10 million. Wow. And I'd have the person say, don't talk about the Latte Factor. And I'd say, don't worry, I will. I'm going to bring up their jets and their fifth home that they don't use. And people would come up and be like, he's right, I have a fifth home and I never use it. That's my Latte Factor. We don't need the fifth home and, wherever that fifth home was. So, but it's a metaphor to look at where you spend money. And you and I were talking before we started this, that what people do, it's fascinating. They inflate what they earn in their mind and they underestimate what they spend. So if someone's making, let's say, $55,000 a year, if I ask them, what do you make a year? They're going to tell me not 55, they're going to tell me 60. And people always do this, and they mentally do it too. Person who's making 80 mentally says that they make 100, but they don't. And then they tell you, if somebody tells me they're spending 70, I promise you they're not spending 70, they're spending 80 or 90. Mm-hmm. So we inflate in our minds what we earn and we underestimate what we spend. And it's actually the opposite. You need to spend less than you earn, and then you need to increase what you make. If you spend less than you earn and you increase what you make, it's total victory.
Yeah, I feel like I have had such an advantage because I grew up and my mom knows how to stretch a dollar bill around a block like 7 times. So that's kind of in my DNA to be extraordinarily frugal and to watch every penny. And it served me well. And I'm telling you, I'm really, really grateful for that upbringing. You mentioned relationships, and that's exactly where I want to go next. Money can be such a tough issue between you and your partner, within a family, if you have kids. So what are some things that we can do to empower ourselves and to open up those dialogues with the people that we love about money so we can get on the same page?
So first of all, it's a really good question, right? And I think fighting about money is the number one thing that breaks up couples. So fighting about money actually destroys families. This is the thing that it's so sad to me because it's so fixable. And so it leads to divorce, it leads to alcoholism, it leads to drug addiction. Money issues break apart the American family. So how do you fix this? And here's what I tell couples. First of all, identify when you have your money fights. So when do most people talk about money? Across the board, they talk about it typically when they're paying the bills. And usually one person's paying the bills. So that person is usually somewhat aggravated or pissed off. And that they're like, hey, I need to talk to you about what's going on. And you're walking through the room, you're like, what? You're not ready. So it's really important that what couples do is they identify when they're talking about money. Don't talk about when you pay the bills. Don't talk about it when you're in bed. So you want to get some nookie. Don't be talking about money in bed.
That's damn right. Absolutely.
People get in a car, they're on a trip, they're like, okay, let's talk about money now. No, wrong. What you do is you create a money date. And a money date is just, we're going to set aside some time. Could be an hour, first money date. You've got kids, not with the kids. Get a babysitter for the kids. Get out of the house. And have a time that you're both ready. You're like, look, we may not want to even do this money conversation, but I want to start. And let's have a date for an hour, and let's bring up whatever it is you want to talk about. Now, I walk you through in Smart Couples how to have these money dates, but I recommend what you do is, maybe start off with the positive. Like, talk about what's working in your life instead of going like, you suck, you do everything wrong, right?
Yeah.
Get yourself on the same page. And the fastest way I think couples can align together is that you start by getting organized. Organizing all your financial documents. I have this thing called the Finish Rich File Folder system. Maybe we can put a couple of links on your website.
Of course, 100%. Right below the episode.
And like a little tool where you organize all your financial documents at home. And the reason that's really powerful is that you can work on it together. Big thing happening right now is everybody's cleaning out simplifying their lives and cleaning out all their junk. And I always say the best thing you can do is clean out your financial junk and organize all your little stuff, because then you really feel powerful over your money and you can start from there.
Josh and I have a great blessing in that we are very aligned with our values about money. And it's actually super fun. Like, I love opening up that money conversation. It's not always easy.
Yeah.
There's definitely been times when we've had fireworks, I think, like any couple. But I find those conversations to be so rich because in my experience, we always tie it back to, well, what else do you want to create? Like, what else do we want to experience? And how do we want to keep shifting our lives so that they're really in alignment with who we feel we really are?
Well, and what could be cooler,
Right?
right? You found your soulmate.
Yeah.
He's lucky because he found you. I haven't met Josh. I'm sure he's the most amazing guy.
He's a really cool dude.
You guys are aligned with your values and you're working as a team together. That's the whole key. When you're fighting over money, you're like two teams battling it out. You can't ultimately win. And also, if you have kids, if your kids see you fighting about money, they're going to grow up to fight about money. That's why often we just perpetuate what we grew up with.
Right. Love the suggestion. I love the money date. Let's talk a little bit about people that maybe have been able to move past being tremendously in debt and they've gotten themselves to a level of security where like things are starting to be okay. What are some of the mistakes that you see people make when they start to get to that next level and everything's kind of coasting?
Oh my God. So I wish do we have an hour for this part? So I always say, like, look, the hardest thing to do is make your first million, and then the easiest thing to do is lose it. So wherever, I see people, they do really well, right? They grow their income and then they just blow it. And one of the things that happens when you start to make a lot of money and have a lot of money is that really sophisticated people come by to separate you from it. So let me tell you, let me give you a handful of things to be. This applies to anybody, but this is what happens when people get a lot of money, or even just disposable money. People come to you with what I would call sophisticated investment. Okay, if the investment's complicated, if you can't explain the investment with a crayon and one piece of paper, there's something wrong with that investment. I don't care what the investment is. Like, if it's too complicated to explain it, you should never be investing in it. Second thing I'll tell you, if it's not liquid, if someone says, I want you to invest in this, the question you ask is, well, when can I sell it? The answer you want to hear typically, like almost always, is that you can sell it in less than 5 days. So I'll give you an example. Mutual funds. You're in and out by less than 5 days. That money's coming back to you. Bonds, in and out. Gold, silver, commodities, stocks. You can be those are liquid investments. They maybe should be long-term investments, but you can sell them. If you buy a condo, we're in a commercial condo right now. You own this commercial condo, you can't get out of it in 5 days. But if you own it, really good chance you can be out of this in less than 120 days, 6 months maybe max. That's a liquid investment. What's not liquid? Limited partnerships. Okay, 9 years at Morgan Stanley, invest, in front of 1,000 individual investors. I get to see everything. I get to see the statements. I see where people lose their money. You see an investment, they put in $250,000 and now it's worth nothing. What was it? Limited partnership. What's the lesson? Not liquid. Those things are always packaged up. They're just typically crap products and people get burned. The big thing right now, non-traded REITs. Like, I'm giving you examples of sophisticated investments that are not even sophisticated, where probably $10 billion last year went into non-traded REITs.
Wow.
All the similar things that are with limited partnerships. People are going to get so burned. So many people are they're already getting burned by these investments. But the thing is, it's not a liquid investment. So avoid non-liquid investments. What are other simple mistakes that people make who have money? Okay, they don't have a will. All right, let's just start with a will. Now, people who have money don't have wills, and people who don't have money don't have wills. But if you have money and you don't have a will, you have a business and you don't have a will, shame on you. Okay, 50% of people with money don't have wills. I see people who work their whole life to build wealth for their family, their values family. You don't have a will. The first thing that happens is that your family fights over that money. And it destroys families. So if you're watching this, don't tell me that you should get a will done. Get your ass into an attorney's office and get the will done. Life insurance, a lot of people candidly are underinsured. Now, if you're not rich, you're underinsured too, probably. For $100 a month, the average family can protect their family in case someone dies early. $100 could buy, for the average, it depends on your age, 30, 40, 50 if you're healthy. $50 to $100 a month, a person could buy a term insurance policy, family's totally protected. So there's so many of these things.
Yeah, this one's great. And I have to tell you, the will thing for me, for a while, it was one of those things where, mine's done. Everything's all taken care of. And I know, it was one of those relief things where it was on my mind. And I'm like, I just need to get this done. And the moment I signed off on everything, there was such a sense of peace and relief. I mean, given the world that we live in today, and it's not even just today, at any moment, you could walk down the street, hit by a bus, who knows what's going to happen. But that sense of relief that I felt was unbelievable. It was a new sense of freedom that I can just create, I can do whatever. And God forbid something happens, I know things are going to go the way that hopefully I intend them to.
Well, and there's other parts of wills too, like the living health clause in a will. But one thing I'll say about wills, because they're living, breathing documents. So as someone's watching, they're having more and more success, that will may need to be changed.
Yes.
As you have kids or grandchildren, that will gets changed. So what a lot of people do is they get a will done in their 20s or their 30s. They get married, maybe they have a child, and then by the time they're in their 50s where they have the wealth, that will is totally out of date. So it's just important to be cognizant of that. And that's something that a good financial advisor should be on top of too. Your financial advisor should be making sure that all that stuff is updated.
Yeah, I set calendar appointments for things like that because there's so many things running around in this crazy head of mine that I use Google Calendar to just update and update. I want to move on to what is something that you did a little while ago that I thought was fascinating. Your sabbatical and this idea of living rich now. I mean, 11 books. I remember watching you on Oprah, as I shared in the beginning, made a huge difference in my life. And then I remember seeing you outside of a conference and you were like, I'm not working right now. Yeah. Tell us about living rich now, your sabbatical, the whole shebang.
So in 2012, my radical sabbatical, I took 18 months completely off. So in 2013, I took the entire year off. And part of that came together because my wife made a fatal mistake, or I should say a fateful mistake. She asked me in March of 2012, what did I want for my birthday? And we so often get asked that. I just said, oh, honey, I don't know. And I wasn't sleeping well at the time. And we were in bed. And I'm like, you want to know what I want for my birthday? And the annoying thing about this question was that my birthday was in November. Right? So
she's a planner.
I'm like, you want to know what I want for my birthday? I want a year off. And she's like, well, what do you mean? And she's like, you don't want to write another book? I'm like, I don't want to write a book. She's like, well, what about the Today Show? Well, nope, no TV. Well, what about social media? Nope. I'm like, I want to do nothing for a year. You know what I want to do? I want to be a dad. I want to take the kids to school. I want to go have lunch with friends. I want to go to the gym. I want to pick the kids up from school. I want to go to the baseball game. I want to go to the football game. I just want to be a dad. And she looked at me and she's like, well, don't you do the stuff that's in these books? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, can we afford for you to take a year off? And then I start going, oh my God, how much money we spend? And she's like, well, how many years could you afford to not work? And I'm like, start running the numbers. And I said, well, God, I don't know. Even in Manhattan, we could afford to not work for at least 20 years. And we could retire somewhere else. And she's like, well, this is a dumb conversation. Take a year off.
So I have to interrupt you. Did you have the FOMs? Was there any part of you when you were considering this? Because being in similar industries, there's a lot of pressure that you have to keep going, you have to create new things. Was there any part in your mental kind of calculation of this, like, OMG, am I going to screw anything up, everything I've built? Or were you just like, you know what, David is burnt, I want to be a dad right now?
No, it was the most freaking terrifying thing that I have ever done in my life, other than when I left Morgan Stanley to move to New York on a wing and a prayer to go do all this. Wow. And, I know you talk about how you walked away from $1 million. I walked away from $1 million a year income to go on a wing and a prayer, move to New York to teach people about money. Because I wanted, my value was I wanted to make a difference. Yeah. I was terrified. In fact, I was so afraid to do this in 2012 that I didn't tell anybody. I mean, I told my wife and some close friends, but I was really scared, and I didn't publicly go out and send out an email to my community. I didn't go on Facebook and be like, I'm going to be gone for a year, because quite honestly, I didn't know if I could do it.
If you didn't know if you could last
I didn't know if I could last a year off.
Okay.
And so I actually didn't tell anybody. It was interesting how long it took for people to start being like, well, where are you? Is he alive? And it took a while to decompress, but I will tell you, let me tell you the benefit of it. In a year, within 90 days of taking the sabbatical, I did the sabbatical 2 years ago. I was 46. I felt 46. I thought I was tired and I was dragging. and I wasn't jumping out of bed like I normally do. I had lost, the charge, the motivation. And I thought, I must just be getting older. Well, within 90 days, I felt like my old self again. I was sleeping like a rock. I lost 10 pounds. I was totally happy for no reason. For no reason. I'm like walking down the street just like, oh my God, I feel amazing. What is it? This was all I needed was a longer vacation to feel this good. After a year, like right now, I feel like I'm 30. Like my energy is as high as it's ever been. All my passion's back. It's like a freaking miracle pill. So one of the reasons I'm talking about this for the first time publicly is I want to start to inspire other people to take longer breaks. And my thing is I think most people should consider taking a 6-week sabbatical. That should be a goal, because I think 6 weeks, you can do so much with 6 weeks. And Europeans watching this, they're like, whatever, 6 weeks. They take 6 weeks off all the time.
Totally.
But Americans watching this are like, what did he say? 6 weeks? We can't, people in America won't even take 5 days off.
Yeah.
So unplugging, that was like realizing like it's an addiction.
Yeah.
Facebook, Twitter, all this stuff. Sometimes it's hard. And so yes, I was scared. I didn't know would I be able to go back and do what I was doing? But you know what? It's all worked out. It's the best thing I've ever done for my life. And in fact, it's probably going to be my next book is going to be on. I'd be curious in comments if people would have interest in learning more about how to take a sabbatical.
Oh, for sure.
Because I found that when I went out to take it, I couldn't find a lot of information on it.
Yeah, I think it's a fascinating topic. I mean, we made a big change in our company last year. I actually had a croissant craving, and I was walking to a little French bakery, and I walked up and they were closed, and they said closed due to vacation. And I went home and I said, that's it. We are closing the company down for 2 weeks. I want everybody off. And now we take 4 group weeks off a year. So we do 2 weeks in August where no one's on email. The entire company's down. Same thing in December, and we're looking to different ways to expand that. So I think it's a fantastic topic. I think that the culture of overwork is a sickness, and I actually want to see that change. And I'd love to be part of the voices to change that, because there's a lot of life that happens outside. As much as I love technology, and I know it's a little ironic for me to say this as a digital entrepreneur, but our audience will tell you, like, I'm not on social media 24/7. I love our show. I love our team. I love what we do. But I spend the majority of my time actually offline as much as humanly possible.
Because that's also where real life takes place.
It's real life. Yeah. And one of the things you said on the phone when we were chatting is you don't have to be rich to live rich.
That's right.
And I loved that. And I love this idea as well. It's kind of tying back to where we started. Sometimes people are like, oh, I want $1 million, or I want $1 billion. But, bigger dreams financially aren't necessarily better dreams. And small, simple lives where you have time, you can be a dad, you can be a mom, and you can just enjoy your life as it is beautiful. And the beauty of what you teach is that you give us the tools to create the life that we want, whatever size of those aspirations.
Well, thank you. I think what you just described for your company will continue to impact so many more people, and this company will grow so much faster. Because first of all, people are going to be attracted to want to come here because of that lifestyle. I was just vice chairman of a company where every 7 years you have to take 6 weeks off. It's a 4 6-week sabbatical. And so at this company, people would talk about their sabbatical like they had a child. They tell you their 6 week sabbatical, and their lives, they just lit up. And then people are like, oh, I'm only a year away from my next sabbatical. We need to get more life in our lives. We really do. I mean, this morning, going back to values, I was asked to do a morning TV show today. And I'm like, no, I want to take my son, James, to school. James is 5.5. I walked him to his kindergarten class. He's still holding my hand. I got 15 hugs and kisses.
That's not going to last.
It's not going to last. My 6th grader's like, see you, Dad. So I'm like, I want to be present in my life for those experiences. Yeah. And I want more people to be present in their life for those experiences. And by the way, you don't have to have a lot of money to do these things a lot of times. It's just a decision process, especially for the entrepreneurs that are watching. Yeah. I'm now addicted to this idea of sabbaticals. So I'm going to even though we're going to start cranking everything back up again. I'm taking 6 weeks off this summer, this coming summer, and I'm taking 3 weeks off in the ski season. And I'm this is something I want to do for the rest of my life, because I want the feeling that is inside of me now that wasn't there before my break. And that the primary feeling is presence. It's being right here, right now.
Yeah. And it's something that money can't buy. David, thank you so much. I adore you. And I will tell you right now, I'll be happy to talk to you anytime. You can call me if we want to chat about sabbatical stuff. I'll be an ear to bend on all this stuff.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you. So, on Marie TV, we like to give challenges to our audience. So let's talk about it. What do we want to challenge our audience to do in the comments below? So you said you had like a 2-part challenge, right? Do we want to think about the Latte Factor?
So let's give them the Latte Factor only. For you, let's make yours different, all right?
Oh, okay.
Let's do the 2-day Latte Factor challenge, all right? So I told you like 30 days, 7 days, and 1 day. Let's do that for 2 days, just for Marie TV, for your people. Track your expenses for 2 days.
Excellent.
Look at where the money's going. Then go. We'll post a link where they can run a calculation on what it's worth. Take a look at where the money's going, and then come back to Marie TV and tell us what your Latte Factor was. Just be honest. Tell us what it was so that we can get people sharing. This is where I'm wasting money. Then here's my second part of the challenge. If you've got a 401k plan or an IRA account, 401k plan would be the easiest. Whatever you're saving, I want you to increase it. So if you're saving 4% like the average American, I want you to increase it. If you increase it to 5%, which is a 1% increase, it's going to change the outcome of your life. I want you to do more than that, but whatever you do, I want to have them tell us what they did so that people can start getting inspired by other people. And if you're not using your 401k plan or you're not using an IRA account, I want you to go pay yourself first. And so if you do, then post that. Let's get people talking about the actions they're taking.
I love it. David, thank you so much for being here today. This was a pleasure.
Marie, thank you. This was a blast. I really appreciate it.
So you got the 2-part challenge from David and I. We want you to leave a comment below. Now, as always, the best discussions happen after the episode over at marieforleo.com. So make sure you go there and leave a comment now. Did you like this video? I loved it. If you loved it, subscribe to our channel, and I would be so grateful if you shared it with your friends. And if you want even more resources to create a business and life that you love, plus some personal insights from me that I only talk about in email, come on over to marieforleo.com and sign up for email updates. Stay on your game and keep going for your dreams, because the world needs that special gift that only you have. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time on Marie TV. B-School is coming up. Want in? For more info and free training, go to joinbschool.com.
It's really important that what couples do is they identify when they're talking about money. Don't talk about when you pay the bills. Don't talk about it when you're in bed. So you want to get some nookie. Don't be talking about money in bed.
That's damn right.